Welcome, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Football Scientific. I am Aaron Sauter. I cover the San Antonio Brahmas on UFL News Hub. As a writer, I cover the St. Hamilton Tirecast on CFL News Hub. Cover the Indoor Football League. I'm looking to start covering the NAL and breaking the NAL on this podcast. This is Timmy, the trash talking Tiger Shark. He's my assistant in this podcast. Yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking about the application of chemical analysis processes to determine how you can find ways to accomplish goals. We then applied that to a football situation in which I put myself in position of building an indoor football league team, either in the NAL or IFL, and the process I would go through by selecting my knowns, my desired outcomes, and my connectors, the things that bring those things together. Okay, today we're going to extend off of that. We're going to take the next step in that journey. Okay, and we're going to talk about the processes professional sports teams use to build their rosters and the phases that they go through in that process. And basically, there's 4 phases. Okay. After that, we're going to go through a roundup of transactions in the NFL, UFL, AF1, even though I don't like covering that league, and I'll explain why in a little bit, and the CFL, okay? We're going to kind of use the theory, this cycles of roster building, and kind of place each team in that category so you can see how it works. So I'm going to talk about first, we're going to start with looking at the phases of roster development at the professional football level. This also applies to college football, especially now since we have the transfer portal that is like free agency, okay? We also use the same process in high school football, although it's a much slower process because of the lack of free agency, although in Tennessee they just passed a law allowing for a one-time transfer, so it may start looking a little bit more like college. Okay, so that's the thing. The process is the same. You got to figure out where you're at in the process and see where you need to go from there. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the process and then identify where these teams are at from a very honest standpoint. Okay, they may not agree with where I assess that they're at, but I think this is the most honest way of looking at it. As a football professional myself, I like to look at, things in a very black and white area. The more you lie to yourself, the more you stay stuck in a situation you don't want to be in, okay? I always think about the Cincinnati Bengals. Boop. Okay? And the Cincinnati Bengals, they always seem to make decisions, okay, that keep them stuck in the same situation. Yes, occasionally you see a glimmer of hope. They occasionally see a glimmer of hope. The Buffalo is another team I like. The Buffalo Bills occasionally see a glimmer of hope, but they don't seem to be able to build off their success. So, why is that? Because they're not good at understanding what phase and roster development they're in, so they make decisions that sabotage themselves, okay? So, first, the 4 phases. The first phase is the starting point of any team. If I was going to start a football team today, I'd be going into first phase 1, which is the building up phase, okay? During that time, you collect your talent. You're not going to be super picky about your talent. You're going to collect as much talent as you can. You're going to expose yourself to as many players as you can. You're going to find a way to attract as much talent as you can. In the NFL, you want to attract as much rookie talent as you can, or as close to rookie talent as you can. Why? Because of the pay scale. Okay, rookies get paid significantly less than veterans. So if I'm going to build a team, I'm building up, I want to build with young guys. I want to build with rookies because I'm paying them less. And if we happen to get good very fast, we have a bigger Super Bowl winning window than we would if we build around free agents, okay? Building around free agents is a short-term solution. If you want to build something for the long haul, you got to build with rookies. You got to build through the NFL draft, okay? So you got to build through the draft. That's how you get your rookies. That's how you get on a rookie pay scale. And that's where you get to where you can bulk up your roster with talent as fast as possible. Hopefully elite talent if you have good scouts. Some teams have good scouts. Some teams don't have good scouts. Some teams always seem to make the wrong decision. And some teams always seem to make the right decision. Why? Because they trust their scouts. Some scouts are good. Some scouts are bad. Buffalo and the Bengals both happen to be teams with poor scouting departments. The Hamilton Tirecast have poor scouting departments. The San Antonio Brahmas seem to have pretty good scouts. Mark Littlebriggs, as a GM, has a good eye for what he's looking for, especially with Wade Phillips as the head coach. They communicate well, and they get guys. Wade Phillips needs to be successful. Okay? All right, so you build up. You're building through the draft. You're selecting. You're being very selective in your free agency. Free agency in the NFL starts next Wednesday, okay? And you'll see the teams that are building it are going to be selective in their free agency. Why? Because signing free agents can really erode your salary cap situation, okay? And if you're building up, you want to protect your salary cap situation. You want to make sure you have room to grow and the areas you need to grow when you want to enter the next phase of your team development. So you're building up, you want to keep your costs low. You want to get as much talent you can for that low cost. And then you want to make sure that you add a few pieces that can help you compete. So you're going to be very selective. Okay, you're probably not going to break the bank and go get the top guy because you're not ready for the top guy. You're not ready for a top receiver or a top quarterback or a top run. You need guys who will fit into your team model well, that want to build with you over several years, 2 to 3 years. Is it several years? It seems like a lot of years when I say several years, but it's really 2 years. You got 2 years to build up your team. Okay? After that, everyone's going to get fired. They're going to start over and build a team again. I'll go through that phase. So you build through selective free agency. You avoid other people's problems. What do I mean? I mean, if you make a trade, you do not want to pick up someone's salary cap hit. If someone's getting crushed in salary cap and they offer you someone that's crushing their salary cap, don't take the bait. Because if you trade, for example, draft picks for that, you're trading away your cheap prospects for a high-priced veteran who has less overall earning potential than those rookies who are going to be at a cheaper price right now. You're getting set up. The Patriots used to do it all the time. They would draft guys, develop them, and then when they realize, hey, I'm going to have to pay them way more money, they'd release them or trade them. And teams would pick up their guys all the time. They'd be like, I'll take those guys. Teams like the Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears, the Cleveland Browns, they will say, hey, we want your guys. We want to win right now, okay? What they ended up doing was crushing their salary cap. And they entered a different phase that was not building up, okay? So, that's the first phase. You're building up, collect young talent. You want to be on rookie contracts as often as possible, keep the price low. That means you got to build through the draft. That means you need, and you want to stockpile picks. So if I have the number one pick like Tennessee Titans, they are a build-up team. They are a build-up team. I would trade that number one pick for as many picks as I can get, and I'm going to collect talent, okay? I'm not going to take who I think the best guy is because they're not ready for the guy who they think the best guy is. They may get better best guys in the future, but they need more people right now. They don't have one problem. They got a bunch of problems. Okay? All right, and then you want to avoid other people's problems. Avoid the OPP. You do not want to take on people's salary cap hits or attitude problems or overall lack of production or injury issues. I looked at Deebo Samuel a couple days ago. The Commanders drafted for him. They drafted guys that had injury problems recently, but not a ton, but injury problems. So they're taking a gamble, okay? But they're not in the build-up phase. They have surpassed the build-up phase, so they can take a gamble. Okay, if you're building up, you should not gamble on people that are injury-prone. You should not gamble on other people's problems. Okay? All right, next phase. After you build up, you've reached some plateau. You build up and you reach some plateau. Hopefully more successful than you started. If not, you're going to be fired. And keep building up. I lost my headphones. They're going to keep building up. Okay, they're going to keep building up. They've lost their opportunity. So let's assume a build-up is occurring and people have not lost their opportunity and moved to the next phase, which is maintenance. Okay, now you start extending your productive players. This is what the Bengals are bad at. They're always stuck in the build-up phase. They need to extend your productive players. Okay, you need to keep your draft picks still. You need to keep collecting talent to replace the talent that is not productive. Okay, so you got to not productive talent, you start weeding out. You extend your productive talent, and then you use draft picks to keep bringing in talent, okay? To keep replacing the guys you found were not productive. Now, this is a good time to trade for better guys, for better situations, okay? I would trade a guy I'm overpaying for someone that is being underpaid by someone else. Maybe my guy was at one time really good, but is dipping up, kind of like T. Higgins. I would trade him for someone that has not yet reached their peak. Okay, I would find a trade partner that's willing to say, hey, we'll take T. Higgins and we'll give you these maybe one, maybe three guys who have not done much for us but have some potential. Now, if you trust your scouts, you can see those guys that have potential and you'll build with those guys, okay? All right, so next, you want to make sure you focus on building depth. When you're in maintenance mode, you do a lot of things. You do a lot of cycling of personnel to maintain depth. Okay, you want to gain depth, maintain depth. That way, you're going to run into injuries. When you run into injuries, you still have a chance to be successful. That's what maintenance is about. Maintenance is about, I'm good. I want to keep being good. So if I get guys hurt, I'm going to keep adding people. Okay, I'm going to keep adding people. It's a constant cycle. And depending on the league, it's just faster than others. NFL, this is a fairly slow cycle, okay? And the UFL, this is a lightning fast cycle. You have a very short window to get this stuff done, okay? In the IFL, it's a flash of light. It's a nuclear explosion cycle. It's so fast. That's why I don't do a lot of signings and stuff for the IFL and NAL right now this time of year, because there's going to be a lot of movement of players up until mid-season, okay? By mid-season, things can settle down. But it takes a while for that heat of free agency to settle down in those leagues, okay? Okay, so that's your maintenance mode. You've gotten where you want to be. You're working through it, okay? Now, if that maintenance mode is the championship season, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles as having been in maintenance mode this year. They added Saquon Barkley. That was a missing piece they had. They should be in maintenance mode. They're extending their players, okay? They're keeping what they have. They happen to win a Super Bowl in maintenance mode. That's a really good position to be in. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl in maintenance mode. That's a really good position to be in, okay? That means maintenance means winning more Super Bowls, okay? If your maintenance mode means you're a 10-win team, that means you're trying to keep winning 10 games. But if you're a Super Bowl winner, keep maintaining that. It gives you a chance to become a dynasty, okay? The next phase, and not every team reaches this phase, is the finish it now phase. That means you've been in maintenance, and now you're really close in maintenance to get over the top and become a championship team. You haven't done it yet. You're so close. The Buffalo Bills are in finish it now mode. Really for the last 3 years. Finish it now mode. Okay? So they should be making bold moves to try and get over the top and win a championship. Okay? So, what's that mean to be in finish it now mode? It means you're close to winning a championship. Washington Commanders are close to winning a championship. That's the phase we're in right now. They suddenly went from building up, boom. Now we're in maintenance mode and we almost won an NFC championship, okay? So now we got to finish it. We cannot waste the opportunity because now our rookie contracts have a year or two left. They will expire. We'll have to pay people or start the process over again, and we've missed our Super Bowl window, okay? So what I would do is stack with free agents. I'm going to stack with free agents and trades. Deebo Samuel is an example of stacking with a trade, okay? They stack with free agents. If free agents starts next Wednesday, I expect the Commanders to be pretty aggressive. Why? Because they're in finish it now mode. I don't expect the Bengals to be really aggressive. Why? Because they don't like spending money. But also because where are they at right now? It feels like we're still in build-up mode. They're not. They kind of fell into a Super Bowl when they lost to the Rams, but they never had a really good plan. I really don't trust the plan of the Cincinnati Bengals because I can't tell what phase they're in. I don't think they know what phase they're in. They just know they don't want to spend a lot of money. Okay, the situation with finish it now mode is you're either going to hit big, boop. Philadelphia Eagles, 2004 Super Bowl winners, they brought Saquon Barkley in. They had the rest of the team. They wanted a great defense, and they finished the job. Boom. Now they have a chance to continue that because they had a good build coming in to the finish it now phase. Okay? Or miss big. Sometimes you miss big. Okay? So sometimes you load your roster thinking that you're ready to break through, but then either you get hit hard by injuries, and now you miss your Super Bowl window, and you destroy your cap, and now you got to start all the way over again. Okay? The Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a build-up phase, some coaching indecisions, Urban Meyer, blah, 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 and now, boom, where are they at? It's gone. They had a chance. They were close. A few times the Jacksonville Jaguars have been close to finish it now. But they couldn't get there, and they missed big, boop, and they're back to the bottom. Boop. That's the problem with finishing now mode. It's really critical to make good decisions. If you make good decisions, you win Super Bowls. If you make bad decisions, you're at the bottom of the league, and you're starting over, okay? So that's a dangerous place to be. That's a dangerous place to be, okay? Because you might end up reversing your trend of success if you miss. But you got to take the shot because you're in finish it now mode. And it's almost worse to not finish it now and miss than it is to go for it and miss. Your fans will not forgive you if you're in finish it now mode and you can't finish it. They're going to be like, why weren't we more aggressive? Why did we play it so safe? Because you didn't want to miss big. But instead, you didn't get a hit either. You're in maintenance mode. And you're in maintenance mode with a 9-win team. That's a dangerous place to be because it's hard to get better when you're a 9-win team. Because you're going to be picking middle of the draft. You're never getting the best guys, never getting the worst guys. You're staying, you're maintaining mediocrity. Okay? What happens when you miss? Well, then you go to tear down and prepare for rebuild. Okay? You may fire your coach. Boop. You might fire your GM. Boop. You might keep one of those two, but you get rid of everyone else. You have to figure out who's my descending players. Who's on the way down? Throw them out. Okay? Who's my ascending players? Keep them and keep rolling with them. They're your foundation now. Okay? You have to value your salary cap. If I keep some guys who are ascending, I want to restructure their contracts and free up more cap space. My selling point to them would be, hey, if we restructure your contract, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl over the next 2 or 3 seasons. If you don't restructure your contract, we're going to have to cut you free because we value salary cap over you as a player because we're not in position to finish it now. So we're not going to sell out to pay you. Okay? So that's the philosophy. That's the theory. They had the one blooper with the headphones. Don't make fun of me. You can make fun if you want to. I get excited. I have the headphones on. Why do I have the headphones on? Microphones, kids. Microphones. I want to make sure I'm getting good sound quality. It's a little echoey in here. I yell a lot. I'm excited. Headphones almost fell off. You can laugh about it. Boo! Laugh about it. Timmy the Tiger Shark's laughing about it. My feelings aren't hurt. I'm just glad you're watching the show. I'm glad I'm getting comments from people saying my UFL picks are good but not great. Okay, well, at least you answered. Good job. At least you're watching the show. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? If I do something to make you mad, let me know. I might do it again. I might. I don't learn well. I don't get along with others that well. Okay? Okay. All right. So now we're going to go through the transaction list and we're going to see where teams are at. Okay? I think some teams are not sure where they're at. So first we have the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL. I view them as a build-it-up team. Okay? We're building that up. We're not in a good spot. We just got Pete Carroll as the head coach. We're building it up. They need to acquire as much talent as they can. What do? Boom. In classic Raiders fashion, not really having a plan. Mark Davis not having a plan. They extend edge rusher Maxx Crosby for 3 years for $106.5 million and a guaranteed $91.5 million contract. He had 59.5 sacks in his career so far, which is a good number. Okay, if I'm in finish it now mode, I pay Maxx Crosby a ton of money. Okay, but they're not in finish it now mode. They're in build and I am maintenance phase. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and you're not even in maintenance phase. You just put a big dent in your salary cap when you're trying to build your roster. Why are the Raiders continually in the bottom of the league? Because they make poor decisions. They make poor decisions based on emotions. They love Maxx Crosby. The team loves Maxx Crosby. They overpaid Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby, you haven't won any playoff games. You're a good edge rusher, but you haven't won any playoff games. What's your production? Okay, Green Bay Packers news, sorta. Maxx Crosby, who kicked for the Packers for a long time and kicked for the Giants 2023, has retired. He had an 81.3 hit percentage of field goals, 400 out of 492. That was good. He's a very good kicker. He was mainly a good kicker for the Packers, but then he moved on to the Giants to finish it up. He's done. Okay, Cincinnati Bengals take a big hit. 7-year veteran on the defensive line, Sam Hubbard. He scored a touchdown the year to beat the Ravens. The year they went to the Super Bowl. He's caught passes from Joe Burrow. He's from Cincinnati. He's been a captain for the last 4 years. He retires, okay? Last year he had 25 solo tackles, 16 assists, and he had 2 sacks. Not his best year. He has 38.5 sacks over 7 years. He's not a sack man. He's a run stopper. But he does get some sacks, and he also adds some team chemistry. It's a big loss for the Bengals, okay? Big loss. They should have talked him into playing more instead of paying T. Higgins. No offense to T. Higgins. I would have traded T. Higgins after the franchise tag. Tagging, trading. Let's get our cap space freed up, okay? But they didn't do that, so they lost Sam Hubbard. Not connected to T. Higgins. Another interest, I feel like the Bengals are still building up. We're not in maintenance phase. We've been building up for a long time. They got lucky to Super Bowl here. It's been proven because they haven't made the playoffs since. Ouch. Ouch. Okay? Okay. The next team, the Chicago Bears. Okay, Chicago Bears. They're acting like they are in maintenance mode. They picked up Caleb Williams last year. They got smacked. They thought they were doing pretty good until the Commanders beat them on a Hail Mary. They fired their head coach. They got a new head coach. Honestly, they're in a build-up phase. They should be focusing on collecting talent around Caleb Williams. They're ranked 18.2 out of 32 teams in the NFL based on their supporting talent. That's not going to help Caleb Williams. Okay? What they decided to do was make 2 trades in the last couple days here. They traded a 6th-round draft pick in 2025 for offensive lineman Jonah Jackson to the LA Rams. LA Rams get a pick. Bears get Jonah Jackson. He's been decent, but he's not a world beater. Okay. They also today they traded a 4th-round pick in 2026, future draft picks. Okay, and they traded that to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going into a rebuild mode. They dumped off offensive lineman Joe Thuney, who plays guard, but played left tackle. The ability to play guard and left tackle in the NFL is very valuable, but it is not worth $26.9 million, which is what he's getting paid. That's a huge cap hit, which is why the Chiefs, who are going into rebuild mode after losing the Super Bowl here, they are dumping that salary, and they're dumping it to the Bears. The Bears seem to be acting like they're in finishing mode. They're a very not complete team. You can't be in finishing mode, man. I shouldn't be trading my draft picks away when I'm not even close to being in finishing mode. Okay? Oh well, I'm not a Bears fan, so let it be. That guy's an all-pro, but he's super expensive. He did give up 2 sacks on 3 of 65 pass attempts, 35 pressures. He's a solid player. He's a right guard. I wouldn't pay him $26.9 million. The Chiefs did because they knew they could find someone that would take it. And they did. The Bears. The Bears always make poor decisions. Okay? Next, the Philadelphia Eagles. Speaking of finish it now and still in maintenance mode, their maintenance mode is still in finish it now. Dang, that's a really good spot to be in. They know where they're at. They extended Saquon Barkley yesterday to make him the highest paid running back in the league. Today they re-signed the linebacker Zach Bond, okay, with a 3-year contract. $51 million for that contract, $34 million guaranteed. Last year he had 93. He played in 16 games, 93 solo tackles, 58 assists, 3.5 sacks and interception. Those are great stats. They are in finish it mode, but that's their maintenance mode. They're hitting big and trying to hit big again. That's their maintenance mode. Because they're hitting big and trying to hit big again. Okay? That's a great place to be for the Eagles. And they're making it happen by extending the contracts of guys that are getting them there. They're maintaining the window of success. It just happens to also correspond to their maintenance mode. Okay? Which is a great place to be if you're an Eagles fan. Next, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks appear to be heading to rebuilding mode. Last year was an interesting year. They were expected to go into rebuilding mode last year, but had a chance to make the playoffs. They went for it. They missed. New head coach Mike McDonald. He tried to pop it off and get there. Probably set back the franchise a few years. Should have just rebuilt last year. And then in 2 years, they'll be back in maintenance mode and trying to get to finish it now. But instead, now they're pushing away talented players. They released Tyler Lockett over the year for good reason. He was a 4-year, 1,000-yard receiver, but he's dipped off from 2019 to 2022. Sorry, misstep there. It's a day of bloopers. Okay, I don't cut this. I don't edit this. I want you to see it for real. I'm a punk rock fan. Okay, and they just show up and play. They don't practice. I don't practice. I show up and play. Boom. Okay, so 2019, 2022, 4 1,000-yard seasons in a row, 35 touchdowns during that time. Very good. 2023, 894, under 1,000 and 5 touchdowns. Okay, that's not that great. And then last year, he had 60 catches. He had, 600 yards? 600 yards, and then he's looking at 2 touchdowns. That's why they cut him. They're like, man, you're on the descent. You're descending. You're descending. We're going into rebuilding mode. We're going to set you free, Tyler Lockett. And that offended DK Metcalf and the other receivers that they may not intend on getting rid of. But he's demanding a trade. I will say, though, he's also in descending mode. So for team, the Bears will probably pick him up. The Bears will pick him at descending DK Metcalf. Last year, he played in 15 games, had 66 catches, 992 and 5 TDs. I would not trade for him. He wants to trade. Who's going to trade with him? The Bears. The Bears will trade with him because they don't have a plan. The Bengals might trade for him because they don't have a plan. Okay? I could see some of these bad teams. The Arizona Cardinals will probably trade for him. They don't have a plan. That's why they keep being bad. That's why they're always in build-up mode. Okay? The Jacksonville Jaguars, they went for it. They went for finish it mode. Boom. Missed it. Missed it 2 years ago. Now they are in rebuild mode last year and this year too. They are releasing wide receiver Christian Kirk. 2022, played 17 games, 84 catches, 1,108 yards, 8 touchdowns. Good season. 2023, he played in 12 games. That's a big drop. That's 5 less games in case you're not doing the math at home. 57 catches, 787 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Ouch. And then 2024, only played in 8 games, 27 catches, 379 yards, and 1. Oh, that's much worse. Yeah, cut him. You're in rebuild mode. You're not going to pay that guy more money. That would be a horrible idea. Okay? Washington Commanders. I mentioned, I believe they're in finish it now mode. Okay, so they're in finish now, but I've been making some bold moves to try and finish it and win a Super Bowl. They were in the championship game last year, and they had a chance to beat the Eagles. Slim chance, but they had a chance. Okay, I would try to finish that right now. They go from build up to finish it. They're not really in maintenance mode. I think they're gonna either hit it or miss big. Okay. Boo! They're looking to release defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. In his career, he has 42 quarterback sacks. That's good, but he's descending, okay? He had 2023, he played 16 games, 53 tackles, 5.5 sacks. 2024, 8 games, 19 tackles, 3.0 sacks. He's descending. They're looking for a trade partner, but they made a critical error in their business dealings. They said, we're looking for a trade partner, but if we don't get one, we're going to release him. Why would you trade for him? Why would you give the Commanders something if they know you're going to release him anyway? Just wait. Wait and let him get released and then sign him for $1 million. Okay? Yeah, that's a smart plan. Trading for him, that's dumb. Don't do that, NFL teams. I see you, Bears and the Bengals. I see you, Timmy. I know you want the Bengals to do it because the Bengals are dumb. Okay? All right, that's a bad decision. The Cleveland Browns, the epitome of stuck in build-up mode forever. They're going to be in build-up mode forever. They've never been the same since they became the Ravens and came back as the Cleveland Browns. That team has never been out of building mode. Okay? They decided to extend, or they're looking to extend Joel Bitonio, offensive guard. He's going to play his 12th season. He's coming back. People thought he was going to retire. Probably should retire. But he's not. He's going to keep getting paid by the Browns. They also paid Deshaun Watson a record number of dollars, and they want to get rid of him now. Maybe they've already gotten rid of him by the time you hear this. Okay? That's a waste of a lot of cap money. They are bad. They make the Bengals look like good decision makers. For a minute, they were looking pretty good, but now you're in rebuild mode. You gotta trade off Myles Garrett because you can get something for him. You can get a lot of something for him. Get rid of him. Let's build up, okay? Got to rebuild. The Denver Broncos, Zach Allen. They acquired Zach Allen, 6'5", 255-pound defensive end. 2023, he played in 17 games for him, 60 tackles, 5 sacks, pretty good. 2024, played in 16 games, 61 tackles, 8.5 sacks. That's ascending. He's ascending, but he wants a big payday. Because he's ascending, he wants a big payday. If I'm the Broncos, I don't give him a big payday. Nope. Do it again. Do it again. He wants an extension. Do it again. Prove it year. If you pay him now, they will not get better. I don't believe they'll get better if they pay him now. But we'll see what they do. Okay. That's the NFL news. The headphones almost fell off. They're right there. I need the mic. Okay? All right. Other league news. AF1. The trash heap, that is AF1. Had a major thing happen. The Orlando Predators, a legacy team from the original AFL, Arena Football League. The team they were hoping to build around. Boom. Kicked them out of the league. Kicked them out of the league because they were going to be out of the league anyway, okay? Orlando Predators were dragging their feet on making some decisions because they didn't believe in the direction of the league. The league said, hey, Orlando Predators, okay, have decided to not live up to their obligations. We kicked them out of the league. But today, Orlando Predators released a letter that said, no, we stepped out of the league because y'all had a fundamentally flawed plan. And the problem is the Predators helped build that plan. So you would think they would have spoke up then. But they didn't. Now they know we're not going to make any money. Actually, we're going to lose all our money. And this league is going to crash and burn. The survivors will play in a championship game. Maybe out of them all again. The survivors. Hopefully 2 teams survive. I don't know which two it would be. That's why I don't cover that league. It's gross. Every week you might lose your team. Okay? In the UFL, the Memphis Showboats add a defensive lineman, Antoine Jackson, 6'2", 300 pounds, 2023, played in the XFL for the Seattle Sea Dragons, had 20 tackles. He was in practice squad for the Carolina Panthers 2023, earned a spot from his XFL performance. 2024, he played for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Boo, Battlehawks. And he played 9 games, had 10 tackles and 0.5 sacks. Memphis Showboats, he'll fit right in. He's pretty mediocre. He'll fit right in. Okay? All right. DC Defenders signed wide receiver Braylon Sanders. Okay? 2022, 2023, Braylon Sanders with the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. He got to play in 3 games. He had 2 catches for 17 yards. He also spent time in New England Patriots on the practice squad. He's looking for an opportunity. We'll see what he does. The Defenders need offensive playmakers. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. We don't have enough information, okay? All right. They also cut offensive lineman Darrell Simpson. He came from the Baltimore Ravens somewhere down the line, but he was not playing well in practice. Training camp started on Monday. By Wednesday, they cut him. They're like, nope, this guy's not going to work out, y'all. Okay, other UFL news. San Antonio Brahmas took a loss. They had signed running back Hassan Hall, who had NFL experience, but he either didn't report to camp or he left camp for personal reasons. James Larson, PFN, Pro Football News, he reported that, and he didn't know why they lost him. They suspended him. It doesn't mean he's kicked out the team. This means, where is he? No one knows. Okay. The CFL does all the time, and people got to go take care of family business. Maybe that's the deal. But I would not expect to have him for the season, and he was supposed to be pretty good. Okay, Arlington Renegades, they add linebacker Charlie Thomas. They need to build that defense up if they want to compete in this UFL. Okay, he has spent time with the Cleveland Browns on the practice squad, but he played at Georgia Tech. And while at Georgia Tech, he had 313 tackles, 37 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 4 interceptions. He might be pretty good in the UFL. If he can translate that over, he'd probably be pretty good. Okay, all right. Too bad it's with the Arlington Renegades. That's the first game for the Brahmas. Let's put that beat on him and let him know, nope, that guy was not what you needed. It was not Charlie Thomas's day. Okay? All right. In the CFL, and with the CFL here, the Edmonton Elks added defensive lineman, American defensive lineman David Ugawegu. Okay? He played for Oklahoma. In 2022, he played for Oklahoma for 2019, 2022, but in 2022, he had played 13 games, had 56 solo tackles, 53 assists, and 2 sacks. Good run stopper. He transferred to the University of Houston for his senior year, played in 12 games, 28 solos, 13 assists, 2.5 sacks. Decent. Didn't get any NFL looks. Okay, doesn't jump off the page. He's got a chance to come in for the Elks. The Elks have been building up defensive linemen in free agency. They're stacking their D-line. This is another defensive line that might be pretty good. Okay, low risk. The Elks cut him if he's not very good. Toronto Argonauts do an interesting thing. A couple of days ago, they signed American offensive Ryan Cole, who'd been with Colts and been with the Falcons. They just released him. Boop, goodbye. Didn't even get a chance to go to training camp. He got released, bro. He might be getting a different opportunity, though. That could be it. Hamilton Tiger Cats finally, after a week, now they are always slow on their announcements, okay? I reported a week ago that they had signed American wide receiver, Phillip Brooks. Okay, Phillip Brooks played for Kansas State, had 182 catches, 2,127 yards, 14 touchdowns. Punt returner, had 57 punt returns, scored 4 touchdowns on that. Very good player at Kansas State. They released that report today after a week of knowing that they already signed him. They're always slow on the turnaround. Now, the Tiger Cats fans, if you listen to this, I get those signings ASAP, okay? Much faster than the Tiger Cats do themselves. They also have a comp on that 3 Down Nation, which is a Canadian source. They said he's like Brandon Banks. Now, if you don't know about the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Brandon Banks was an amazingly good receiver for them for several years. Blew it up. They didn't win any championships with him. He went to Toronto, won a Grey Cup, and now he's done. Okay? But they feel like Phillip Brooks could be the next guy. He's about the same size, 5'7", 175. He's fast. He ran a 4.51 40 time in 2024 during his pro day. So, I mean, he could be pretty good. They're loaded at wide receiver. Kenny Lawler, Tim White, Shemar Bridges. They got a lot of talent wide receiver. He'll have a chance to come in and do something. That'd be awesome, because it'd be nice to see the Tiger Cats win a championship for once. Okay? No hate on that. They haven't won one since 1999. Everyone else has won a CFL championship since then, except for the Tiger Cats. Okay? That's the end of this episode. It's the end of Football Scientific today. Tomorrow, I'll be back. I'll be sharing my Week 1 picks for the NAL. I'll go through the roundup. I'll go through the NFL, UFL, CFL roundup. But I'm going to make my Week 1 picks for the games this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the NAL. And we're going to see how well I do with that. This is my first year doing this for the NAL. We're going to see how it goes, okay? I hope you have a great night. Enjoy yourself. We'll be back tomorrow. Me and Timmy, Boop. We hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for your feedback on the comments. I enjoy interacting with those who are watching the show. Keep watching the show. Subscribe. Like the video. Check out UFL News Hub for articles about the UFL. Check out CFL News Hub for articles about the CFL. Check out my Substack, Football Scientific on the subject for articles I've written. And then, of course, YouTube. Keep hitting us, okay? Let's grow this movement. Let's make it a huge thing. Let's blow it up. If you want me to talk about something else, hit me up. Let me know. Anything goes. Let me know what we're talking about. Have a great night. I'm Aaron Sauter, and I'm out.